have a vision that would seem impossible.
Right.
Like supposing the Richmond, Virginia Symphony says, why can't we be as big as the National Symphony in Washington, D.C.? And everybody would say, oh, give it up. Your city won't support it, and it's impossible anyway.
Right. It took them...
Nothing against Richmond.
Let's take the hall, for instance, which is a beautiful hall. Several years back, Finland decided that it was the year of wood. And timber is one of the major industries of Finland. Timber and Nokia phones are the big industries in Finland.
And music, I think, also.
And music, conductors especially.
Yes.
Yes. So the musicians came up with this idea, what if we built the hall all out of wood? No nails, just build a hall all out of wood, and wouldn't that be a showplace?
But this is the musicians.
The musicians,
saying this.
Yes. Musicians, well, let's put musicians with the staff.
Understood.
And with the orchestra family there. They had found their collaboration and their collaborative spirit could actually do something. It took them 7 hearings at the city council to get this approved. There were some abandoned warehouses right along this beautiful waterfront, and they thought, well, maybe we could renovate one of those, and so they began doing that kind of stuff, and they just found, no, it's not going to work. And then this Year of the Wood happened, so they decided, okay, we can
tie into this thing. There's probably funds available.
That's right. So the timber industry and the national government paid for the hall.
Right.
And it is located right on the lake, beautifully, all made out of wood and enclosed in glass to protect the wood now. So it's a conference center, a beautiful restaurant, which just, part of the utilitarian use of
Can you think of anything in an American orchestra that's remotely parallel to this?
To the power of collaborative vision, I don't think we've gotten there yet.
I don't think so.
No.
You know what I think about? I think of the wonderful renovation that the Cleveland Orchestra did of Severance Hall. I don't know, have you seen it?
I haven't been to the new one.
It's breathtaking. It's beautiful. Even the music stands are beautiful. And it's a lovely place to hear music. And the staff and board are justly proud of this. But I've never, in any conversation with a musician there, heard the musicians taking the same kind of ownership. And forgive me, my friends in Cleveland, if I'm wrong about this, and they do, but the board just naturally took ownership of it because they were the ones who raised the money.
Right.
And the idea that a thing like that could come collaboratively, maybe in St. Paul when they built that wonderful office cum rehearsal space that they have, maybe that came more from the entire organization, though I don't know that. I know that they work very collaboratively.
Sure. Well, it's a question of where does the idea come from? Who has ownership of it as it develops from them? And that's where you have to have this culture where you've got the dialogue, you've got the opportunities for these great ideas to happen, and then the will to make them happen.
Right.
So,
and then the Latte Symphony becomes internationally known. They become world famous.
Right.
Certainly this affects their playing.
Sure. And it's a wonderful orchestra.
Yes, it is.
I must say,
Vasco, a wonderful conductor.
Wonderful conductor, yeah. And I think the magic of that it extends beyond just this trust in this collaborative thing. It extends onto the stage, and it's the collaboration of these music makers, of these instrumentalists with this conductor, who, as we had chances to talk with many of the musicians there, are really, they feel empowered by the trust he gives them, including programming that he allows them to do. So it's a very interesting dynamic that they've been able to achieve, and we haven't really found too many other places. Even in the collaborative orchestras, which kind of parse out the responsibility, it's just different.
I wonder if one reason they were able to have collaboration on programming is that perhaps, and I don't know this for a fact, they didn't have big-name international guest conductors.
Could well be. That from the Sibelius Academy in Helsinki, they were able to. I mean, there was no shortage of good conductors for them, which is a wonderful thing.
And Vasco was willing to be collaborative.
Absolutely.
And they don't have big stars coming in and saying, this is what I conduct this year.
Right. Yeah. It's a very different dynamic. And I think they were able to grow the orchestra. He was, with that spirit of each understanding what they needed to develop. And that's I think
But what a wonderful model, and what an inspiration, it seems to me, for people who are going into the orchestra business.
Yeah.
You know, you're in music school, you study your instrument, and your horizons, as you understand them, are kind of bounded by your instrument and its repertory and its role in the orchestra. And now this holds the possibility you can be a citizen of a much larger world. You can have a much larger influence on your orchestra and on your community than you would have thought, which I must say parallels the rather lofty ideas we sometimes have about the role that music ought to play in the world as a force for good.
Yeah.
But it seems like it can happen.
I think it can. Something that our managers at the Symphony have been doing this year is they've been sending us copies of emails that the Symphony receives, so far all really positive, about people who have really kind of transporting experiences when they come to the conference, to the concert hall. Things that we often don't think about on that stage, that there's really somebody, there was a letter from a fellow last week who said, he's been coming to the New Jersey Symphony for over 20 years. He'd had a terrible day that day. Got there, fought traffic to get to the hall. It was a Friday night, and of course, Friday night traffic. But he was pretty tired when he sat down, and he just related how, as the evening progressed, he felt stronger and stronger and more alive as the night went out to where he was just, his mood had completely changed. Something we don't even think about so often as musicians.
But that leads to the question of, is every orchestra in the country receiving emails like this? Or is it something that some orchestras might encourage more so that it happens?
We encourage it. I think it's very important for us. We're actually having discussions now about outreach, which is something that everyone talks about. We don't talk about so much about in-reach, where the community is actually, we're listening to what the community needs from us. And I think it's a really fascinating
because otherwise outreach can be very patronizing.
Yes.
Like, we're the arts, you should be paying attention. Now we are going to make it palatable for you by providing somebody to make funny speeches from the stage, which, by the way, I'm not making fun of what you actually do, but I know how this is thought about. Instead of saying, we are in this community and so are these people, and what do they think of us and what would they like an orchestra to be? In
the New Jersey Symphony, we've just changed our mission statement. I think every mission statement of every symphony orchestra in this country talks about artistic excellence. And that's probably about all it talks. Maybe you might get a little, half a sentence on education and serving the community. But we've decided to elevate we've decided to elevate connection with our communities to an equal level with artistic excellence. So it's a brand new venture for us to explore how we can possibly fulfill our mission, our brand new adopted mission, to engage with our communities the same way as we try to achieve the artistic excellence that we're always searching for.
Now, some of this, of course, is because the community isn't paying attention as readily as it used to, so there's a need to go out. But I think this goes beyond a new outreach approach or a new marketing approach. It's actually saying that you want to engage the community, kind of people to people.
Right. Outreach and in-reach.
Outreach and in-reach. So this then would lead naturally into your role as the animateur, which is
it's brand new.
Brand new, and a word that many people won't know.
Yes.
It's
I don't think I officially have that title, but it's what I'm doing.
Okay, but you used it to me.
I know.
And I know the term was invented, and the role was invented at the London Symphony, which had a full-time staff member doing it. That person then went to the Berlin Philharmonic. The Philadelphia Orchestra now has one. And it's somebody who is